Says the Kaba experT. I was hoping for about 19 pins because I haven't picked that version yet, but I think this is fully pinned with 22. I'm not complaining too much though. That's a Kaba, so it's gonna be tapered, so fairly heavy tension. Well, that took a while, but I guess that was to be expected. It was one of the harder Kaba experts that I have picked. So I'm gonna confirm how many pins are in here, try to get this gutted real quick. This is a format that I have not seen before. Usually these ovals are the ones that I have anyway. When you pull it out, there's no sleeve, or so I don't know. Figure this out. Usually when you pull that, the other ones that I have, when you pull this core out of the housing, uh, the springs and the pins are right there. This one looks like it has another sleeve, so I'm guessing it's going to have the same core that the Euro cylinders have. Probably got to get these pins out. So yeah, that's the same sleeve. That's what the Euro cylinders look like. I usually use a 15mm socket to drive those off, and it looks like it'll work. Gotta keep it lined up straight. Like it's not quite out of there yet. Now it is. Now when that slides out of there, you gotta keep your hand over it, because those springs will go flying. So to actually gut this, I'm going to slip this housing back on, or this sleeve back on. Then I can just do a couple at a time. It's going to take a while. If this does have, whoa, give me that back. 22 pins, it'd be 6565 as you start at the right and go around. So judging by the number of springs that are in it, there is 22 pins. All right, so I'm going to start with the right side as if I was picking it. Of course, they're not going to want to come out of there. That one's coming out, but I want to get the other one out. Oh, this is going to be a pain. Yep, this is going to take forever. That one's coming out, so that's this one. There's the key pin for 5. don't want that next one coming out. There we go. This lock appears to be kind of dirty. So which one is this? This would be the top right. This would be the top left. And this will be the left. It's a slow, painstaking process. Makes it even worse that they're not coming out of here nice and easy. This is the right. I didn't see it fall out. They're beating the thing all day. So this is the top right. This is the top left. Then move this sleeve down a little bit to get that one on the left. I think that one will come out. Yep. This is the right. Top right won't come out yet. I gotta move this sleeve down. A little bit more. Now this is the top right. I don't know if these are just really dirty. I think my tweezers are slightly magnetic. This is the top left. Pins are kind of greasy though too. I think it's a combination of both. And this is the left. You see, this is definitely not a lock that you want to progressively pin for sure. This is a pain. This sleeve needs to go down just a little bit to get that one out. But I can get this top left one out. Ah. So here's the left. Sorry, that is the right. And now the top right. Top left. And the left. All right. Done with that. Let's see if I can get this off of here. Probably have to hold it with the key so it doesn't spin. It's not going to come off because of this. Looks like there's a pin in it that may have to be drilled out. I don't know. I don't think I have a small enough punch in here for one. I don't know if it will even punch out. Yeah, well, I'm not going to worry about that. On this one, May have to drill it out. Maybe not supposed to come out of there. So that may have to be drilled out to get this back cam plate off, which I am not going to do. So we got 6, 5, 6, and 5 for a total of 22 pins. And this thing was kind of dirty. This is not the first experT that I have picked, but this one is a lot harder than the other one that I picked. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. This is the Kaba experT with easiest way I know how to gut these locks. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna do something that I've not done before and show the assembly of high pin count Kaba lock. This is the Kaba experT. Some people have asked about assembly of these, so I don't know. I figured I'd film this long, painstaking process, and maybe all it will do is talk somebody out of gutting one of these. So you get this sleeve started first. This is the same core that's in the Euro cylinders. In this case, it's in the Scandinavian oval as well with this sleeve on it. So just obviously start in the front. And in this case, this would be the top left cylinder. I have to get this pin in before I get that sleeve started. So the way that I took this apart was right, top, left, left. And the first one is going to be the top left. There we go. Get that in there to hold that core. And then at the same time, I'm going to have to put in the one on the right. All right, and before I slide that sleeve on there, this is what's tricky about gutting these. When I push that sleeve on there to hold the spring in, I'm not going to be able to get that pin in or that pin. So you have to do the next pin as well. You'll see when that sleeve goes on, to get it on to hold that spring in, it's going to cover up part of that chamber there. So that's the top right. And this is the left. You got to use all your fingers with reassembling these. All right, but the first one is, so now the springs have to go in for the top left. and the right. So top left, and that is the left, this is the right. You just double check and make sure that I have these in right. I'm not used to talking while I'm doing this. I'm just more focused on paying attention to the process. Yep, all right. So I do have it right so far. So now we need to get this sleeve started. You can file down where those are crimped to make it a little bit easier. In this case, I did not do that. So, I mean, it is possible to do it without filing that down. It just makes it easier if you do file it down. All right, so those are started. I think that will stay in and that will stay in. All right, so those are started. Those two are in. See, in this case, it's just barely covering, the sleeve is just barely covering that hole. And that driver pin would not go in there without backing that sleeve off, and then you start popping out springs from the other chambers. So you have to always remember to put in the next pin stack when you're doing these. So now it's time to put those springs in. But before I do, I'm going to line this back up because it's going to be harder to do it later. All right, so the sleeves lined up, ready to put those springs in. But before I do, I'm going to put these next pins in. So this is the right. It's going to be a long process. And top left. This is the top left. All right, so now I need the springs for the left. Just try to line those up best, line that spring up the best you can and push it all the way in there. This is the top right, which is this one right here. Hold that in there. Slide this sleeve on just a little bit more. So now it's holding that spring in. Pushing these in with your fingers like that, you'll lose a little bit of skin. See, your finger gets pinched in there. And in this case, that spring did not go in there nice. So I'm going to have to back this sleeve off a little bit. Still don't think it will go in there just yet. All right, so that might be just enough room. That spring's still in there. It might have just enough room to work this spring underneath that sleeve. These precision screwdrivers come in very handy. I use these things all the time. All right, so now that's in there. So I've got that pin in, that pin stack. It just needs a spring. Let me slide this sleeve on a little bit more so that springs that I've got in do not come out. Go on a little bit more. All right, so now I can work that spring in there underneath that sleeve, and it'll probably stay in place while I get that one in. But before I do, I need the next pin stacks for the top right and for the left. So top right is here. Trying to pay attention to what I'm doing while talking through this. It's not normally I'm just focused on putting this lock back together and sometimes still screw it up. So hopefully this thing functions when I'm done. And then this is the left. So this is the left down here. And now I'm ready to get this spring in, which is the top left, which is here. See if I can work that underneath that sleeve. To get it to stay in place, hopefully. So that should stay there while I put this next spring in, which is the right. And just push that straight in, press on it. Hard to compress that spring in there. Slide it on a little bit, check it, it's staying in. That one's good. Okay. Push this on a little bit further. That was too much. That was a little bit too much. Back that off a little bit. Just use that screwdriver to pry it just a little bit. Does that one have a spring? This is the left. 1, 2, 3. No, that one right there does not have a spring. So I got to get a spring in that hole. So I might need to back this sleeve off just a little bit more. It might go in there. Just going slow to make sure I get these back in the right way. So that's the left. This is the left. Sometimes you can actually thread these in. Doesn't seem to want to work though. I'm going to have to back that sleeve off just a little bit more. Still need to get it back just a little bit more. Get a smaller screwdriver. All right, I think it'll go in there now. All right. So now that's in, that's the left. And then that spring needs to go in, but before I go further, I need to put the next pin stacks in. I need to put this one in on the right, which is here. And top left, which is here. Now I can put this spring in on the top right. Try to keep your fingers over everything you just put in. Push that straight down and try to slide that sleeve on there a little bit more. There we go. Really using every digit that you have to repin these. So that is the right. All right, so before I go any further, I need to get the next pins in here on the left, which is here. and the top right. So now I can put the spring in here on the right and top left. So here's the top left. And the right. Make sure that's lined up. You want to push the sleeve on a little bit further. I try not to go too far in case the springs aren't in there all the way. Then you'll damage them because the sleeve will catch on the spring if you push it too far, and it'll stretch it. So just go a little bit. That's another reason why grinding those crimps helps, because sometimes those crimps grab, and then you end up, it releases and you push it too far all at once. It's more likely the further along you go, it's not really wanting to go in there real well. All right, so in this situation, I'm going to try to hold that. Hold those in there and keep that vertical. I'm going to lightly tap on it with the nylon. The nylon end of that hammer is still not going. Okay, I felt it go that time. But I didn't have that spring quite in there all the way. So I'm going to have to back this off. Just a little bit. Let's see if I can work that spring in there. There we go. There, that one's in. If it will stay, tap this on just a little bit more. All right, so those are good. That spring needs to go in, but I got to get these next pin stacks in. So this would be the right, which is here. And this is the top left. If you feel you're about to drop something like I was there, do not hold it over top of your tray. Because if you drop one of these on the tray, a good chance you're going to mix it up and not be able to tell where it went. So now I can get the spring in for the right. Nope, that is the left. I mean, it's just a spring, so it wouldn't matter, but I just try to keep everything exactly right for right, left for left, just to make it easier to not mix anything up. All right, I think that's started in there. This is the top right, which is here. All right, so that spring started coming out a little bit. Put the sleeves on about halfway, so I could probably take it and work that spring underneath the sleeve, and the spring might stay there. There we go. So now that will make it easier to work on this side. Get that one to stay in, lightly tap it. There, that one's mostly in. I'm going to just try to push it over a little bit just to make sure it's fully underneath that sleeve. It doesn't want to pop out. Now I need to get the sleeve in on the spring in on the right and top left. But before I do, I'm going to put the pin stacks in on the left. That is the right. This is the left. So on the left, the left and top right. This is the top right. Okay, now I can get springs in on the top left, which is here. Push it straight in, and this is the right. Okay, it went on there a little bit. See if I can work this spring underneath that sleeve. Don't know if it will stay in there. I'm gonna have to hold it. I'm gonna tap it. Sometimes when you tap them, you can. It's easier to get it on just a little bit at a time. If you're squeezing, that's when it wants to just jump more than you want it to. All right, so that one's in. All the while, you got to keep your hands over top of those next chambers that you put in, or they'll start falling out on you. Got that one in. I'm going to tap it on just a little bit more. Okay, now need to work this spring underneath that sleeve. Might need a smaller screwdriver. There we go. I'm going to tap that on just a little bit more. Make sure those springs don't come out. So now that spring and that spring can go in. But before I do, see, that's why you put the next pin stacks in, because right there, that pin would not go in with that sleeve where it is. That one definitely would not here on the left, but I've already got that pin stack in ahead of time, so I just got to get the spring in. But otherwise I'd have to back that sleeve off, and then springs are going to go shooting out. It's just a not fun process, as you can see. So where am I at? On the right, I need a pin here on the right. And I need this pin on the top left. I think, yeah, that's the top left. Now I can get the spring in on the left. I think maybe that'll stay. And then top right. This is the top right. Tap it on a little bit. Work that spring in there, make sure it goes in. There we go. That one's in, so I'm going to tap it on just a little bit further. Make sure those springs don't come out. So that spring can go in, and that spring can go in. All right, so now the next pin stacks I need to get in are the top right, which is here. And the left. Hopefully I haven't been blocking anything on this video. I cannot do this and watch the screen. So this is the top left. Where this spring is ready to go in. And the right. I'm going to hold it vertically so I can kind of let go, not worry so much about the other pins falling out, and then I'm going to tap this down just a little bit. You can feel how much it's going in with your finger. Keep my finger now over top of the other pins. See if I can work that in there. Tap that on just a bit more. All right. Getting close. Now I need to get the right pin in and top left. So here's the right. And the top left. Whoops, see? That's why you don't hold it over top of the tray. All right, so now the spring is ready to go in on, what is that? The left. So the left and the top right. Okay, that's on. All right, need to drive this sleeve in a little bit more to get that spring to stay on there. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to work that in there without pulling this sleeve off. Yep, it went. All right, cool. Now just the last two springs. So that should be the top left, which is here, and the right, which is here. So I think I have correctly reassembled this. Find out in a minute. All right, that spring feels like it's staying in. Take a peek under here. I think I've got that lined up. Let's check it. Yep, that one's good. That one needs to go under there. There. Now I can get this sleeve on the rest of the way. Not wanting to go. Tap it on with this a little bit. Try to keep it lined up straight. All right. It's still not quite on there, but probably take this screwdriver, stick it in this slot, and just pry the thing on there. All right, where's my key? Moment of truth. Here we go. All right, whew, now I can take a breath. This sleeve lined up better. So that these pins will go in there. There. Now I think it's lined up. So now this goes back in here. Which way does it go? Like that. And then these pins go in these holes. Whoops. It's not wanting to go in there. Something's not perfectly lined up, but pin taps in there. It will line it up. And that one should go in fairly easy. So there we go. Now I'm going to put this cam on. Goes like that. This other one started. All right. And there we go. Whoops. So just a slow, painstaking process. Also why I don't progressively pin anything. Because doing that, I don't want to do that more than once. I didn't even want to do it once. But there we go. That is fully repinned 22-pin Kaba experT. It only took 45 minutes.